out. How good was his first 14 starts of the season? He missed the last 16 days and still has the most victories in all of baseball. First in wins with 10, third in ERA, that 2.53 ERA. Still third in complete games this year. Halladay, what a welcoming sight for Halladay. And this guy right here, too. Rod Barajas, after a couple of days off, because of that hamstring problem, back behind the plate to catch his old buddy Halladay. Here's the scouting report for Big Doc. Number one is back. Jays were 2-1 in his absence. The team 7-7 while Halladay was on the disabled list. And time to start a new streak. At least 7 innings pitched in all 13 of his starts this year. And he's had trouble with the Rays. Last year, Tampa beat him 3 times. His record in his career is still over 500 against Tampa, but they seem to have his number a little bit last year.
First pitch from Doc. We are underway. Home plate umpire is Bill Miller, Mike Esterbrook, Adrian Johnson, and Jim Joyce, the crew here tonight. B.J. Upton called strike. This is a hot Rays team coming in. Over the last few weeks have been able to scoot ahead of the Blue Jays, begin the night 5 games back of division-leading Boston, a game up on Toronto.
It certainly is, and I think a lot of it has to do with the way that they are swinging the bats now. Number one in the American League at on-base percentage, stolen bases, RBIs, total bases, and runs. They can manufacture runs, or they can do it the old-fashioned way, hit the ball out of the ballpark.
There was a lot of concern, Pat Tabler, a couple of weeks ago when Roy Halladay left. As you might imagine, when you lose your ace for any period of time, but perhaps not as bad as first expected. The 2-2, strike 3.
Well, nothing new. He starts off the first batter he sees after coming off the DL. And Upton can just sit there and watch that cutter just split the inside part of the plate. Strikeout number 1. Good to keep that guy off the bases. Same with this man right here, Carl Crawford.
Longest serving member of this organization. Been with them since 2002, played in his 1,000th game this past Saturday. Golf's one foul.
First in the franchise to reach 4 digits in games played. Sits at 1,001 now.
Up the middle for a base hit. And this is when it gets dangerous with the speedy Carl Crawford on base.
Here's how they'll line up for Roy Halladay tonight. Russ Adams gets the start in left field. Alex Rios with the day off. Hasn't had a day off since that day in Baltimore back in May. Jose Bautista takes his place in right field. Overbay, Hill, Scutero, and Rowland from first to third base. And welcome back Rod Barajas also. He'll catch his buddy Roy Halladay, and they work so well together, I think, Rod, Barajas and Halladay. Barajas has a good idea of what is working for Halladay in that day, and he'll just keep going to it.
There goes Crawford, and they test the arm right away of Barajas. Did not take any time at all. You and I had a chance to sit down with Joe Madden before the game. What an affable manager. He's always willing to give you a little something before the game. And he said this is what they like to do against Roy Halladay. They like to piece it together.
They have to piece it together. He says you're not going to hit 2 or 3 run home runs against Halladay. So you've got to kind of get on. You've got to steal. You've got to bunt. You have to hit and run. You have to use all phases of the game to try and score against Halladay. And when he says piece it together, you got to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Crawford not wasting any time. The first pitch, he's gone. Leads the American League in stolen bases.
Last year's American League Rookie of the Year, Evan Longoria. Joe Madden also told us before the game that he was happy not to see Rod Barajas' name in the lineup because he wasn't earlier, and then was a little unhappy to see his name when he was back in. But don't think for a moment that they're going to test Barajas right away as well, knowing that he is not 100%.
Yeah, we got here about 2:30, and the first lineup had Raul Chavez in there. Barajas came out and did some stretching and some running and went to Cito and said, "I'm fine. Put me back in there." And Joe Madden's got a lot of respect for Barajas behind the plate. The way he calls a game, the way he throws.
Three-one inside. And walked is Longoria, so 2 on, 1 away, and this brings up the cleanup hitter, Carlos Pena. Already has 23 home runs this season to lead the American League.
When you look up and down this lineup for the Tampa Bay Rays, they've got like the best base stealer in the American League in Crawford. They have the biggest home run hitter in Pena. They've got a lot of weapons and a lot of ways to beat you offensively. 23 home runs, 55 driven in for Pena. Well, you talk about different ways that they can beat you. We'll call it thunder and lightning. The Rays with 100 home runs and 119 stolen bases. You mentioned it about the fastest team to reach triple digits in those two categories. They did it in 77 games, beating the 77 Cincinnati Reds, who did it.
Aaron Hill, tailor-made double play. Only the base hit to Carl Crawford. Stolen base too, but pretty good start for the Doctor. Batting 7th again, Alex Rios gets the night off.
That's the lineup that big Jeff Neiman will face. Neiman was pulled after 4 innings a week ago yesterday, Sunday, against the New York Mets after giving up 2 runs, 3 hits, and walking 4 batters in that game. He's big, he's strong, he throws hard. He did have a 2-hit shutout back on June the 3rd versus Kansas City, but since then he's given up 15 hits and 10 runs in just 12 2/3 innings. There are some thoughts that maybe he would be out of the lineup when Scott Kazmir came back, but it was Andy Sonnenstein who was sent down to AAA, and Neiman, who was out of options, remains.
Marco Scudero. Little mini funk right now for his last 9. season he's had, though, on top of the Blue Jays order. The first season in a long time I can remember, Tabby, maybe since the days of Reed Johnson, that Blue Jays have had a definitive number one leadoff hitter. Haven't been rotating back and forth.
You know, and who would have seen that? You know, Cito Gaston saw that last year and said this guy would be good at the leadoff spot. Sees a lot of pitches. He's right up there in the American League in pitches per plate appearance. He'll sacrifice that pitch, that 3-1 pitch, if it's a fastball down the middle, just so that pitcher will throw another one. And he's got a great eye at the plate. He's worked himself into another good hitter count.
So now a full count to Scudero. Driven right at Willie Ibar.
Here's a scouting report for the Tampa Bay Rays starter tonight, Jeff Neiman. He's got raw power. 93, 94 miles an hour with that fastball, the curveball, and sinker. Also, lots of pitches. He's got the second lowest strike percentage in the American League behind Tim Wakefield, and teams will run on him. He has given up 13 stolen bases this year.
First pitch swinging, foul territory, but easily playable for Carlos Pena.
We talked about it in the opening. The key again for Neiman is if he can get that curveball over for strikes. He's got a great two-seam fastball that just sinks in on right-hander. But the key for him is throw that curveball for strikes because he's got plenty of fastball.
Well, Vernon Wells, who has been running hot and cold lately, mostly cold all season at home. Something about Rogers Center, not to his liking this year. Average way down. He's 0 for his last 11 at bats. Evan Longoria. Little clutch and throw over to Pena. 1-2-3 start for Neiman. One down here at Rogers Center, scoreless. Canada Day jerseys and caps. Same jerseys and caps will be worn by the Jays at the Canada Day game. There they are. That's Wednesday, of course, here at Rogers Center. An afternoon game. They'll have fireworks. Fergie Jenkins will throw out the opening pitch. It'll be a terrific way to spend the holiday here. Willie Ibar, number 5 hitter for the Tampa Bay Rays. Followed by Pat Burrell, then Gabe Gross.
Ibar playing second base tonight. Their regular second baseman, Akinori Iwamura, on the disabled list with a knee problem. He got taken out at second base, and they're hoping that he will be back by September. Ben Zobrist has taken over for Iwamura at second base, but Joe Madden wanting to give Ibar a chance to swing the bat. He thinks he's going to be a very important part of this team coming off the bench. So the good news, Willie, you get to start tonight. The bad news is you get to face Halladay.
Missing inside again. Doc's timing just seems to be a little off in the early going here. If it ever is, he usually settles, as we have seen in the past.
Yeah, he'll find it. Threw some last Tuesday, then a little bit harder session on Friday. Threw about 54 pitches. I watched him really air it out in the bullpen last Friday. Sat up here and watched as that ball is fouled. Cito was telling us before the game that Halladay will tell him if he's okay or not physically. He's just going to let him just go out there and throw as long as he needs to.
Got him. Second strikeout. Cutter inside.
That was nasty. Did you see where the ball was right when Ibar started swinging at it and where it ended up? Watch this cut piece. He goes after it, and it almost hit him in the shoe. That ball was moving so hard and so fast. Just a nasty, nasty pitch for left-handed batter.
Now designated hitter Pat Burrell. A lot of these Ray faces are familiar from last season, of course, when the Blue Jays would take this team on, except for this guy who just happens to have a World Series ring and then went to the team that he beat in the World Series in October.
That's happened a few times in history. Don Gullick comes to mind. He played on the 76 Cincinnati Reds, who won it. They beat the Yankees. Next season, he signed with the Yankees as a free agent. Tampa Bay, feeling that they were very left-handed heavy offensively. People like Pena and Crawford, that they needed some right-handed thump, and they went out and signed Pat Burrell. And he will supply some thump from the right side. He had more extra base hits last year than any National League left fielder except Ryan Braun. I'm talking about Matt Holliday in that equation also. Some of the other big hitters in the National League. He had 66 extra base hits last year.
Another one. Burrell shakes his head.
Yeah, why not? You just have no chance when Halladay throws that cutter right on the outside part of the plate. He gets the sign from Barajas and throws a seed right down low, down and away.
Now former Blue Jay Gabe Gross, right fielder for the Rays. Guy who was once projected to be one of the future pieces of the puzzle in the outfield.
He's just a great athlete. He can run, he can throw, he can hit for power. You face him and you put him in a lineup where he can be successful. He can help your ball club. Hit some big home runs for the Rays after he came over there last year from Milwaukee.
Of course, he went to Milwaukee, part of the Lyle Overbay deal. Crowd didn't like that. I don't think Roy Halladay liked that call either. Former first-round pick, 15th overall by the Jays. Gabe Gross, broken bat, up the middle. Second base hit by the Rays here tonight brings up shortstop Jason Bartlett.
So tough to square up anything from Roy Halladay. It always seems like it's off the end of the bat or right on the hands. Another cutter in, and this ball is not hit very hard by Gross, but he's so strong he just muscles the ball into center field softly.
So Gross over there with the guy he got traded for having a chuckle or two. Lyle Overbay. Jason Bartlett, this guy was running hot recently, had his 19-game hit streak ended on Friday. It's one of the best hit streaks of the season. Scott Rowland, of course, now at 16. Longest hitting streak in the American League, Ichiro, at 27, which ended in early June.
Don't forget about Gross over there at first base. He's got 6 steals. He's only been thrown out a couple of times. And again, the Rays are very aggressive on the bases. He's got an aggressive lead, and there he goes.
And up the middle, Gross takes the turn, will easily scoot into third base. So now runners at the corners, and base hits coming right up the pipe against Roy Halladay.
They are not going to waste time. That if they are on first base, they are going to be aggressive. We've talked about that. B.J. Upton was talking the other day, saying that Joe Maddon just lets them run, lets them be aggressive.
Now catcher Deanna Navarro. First pitch swinging. Scott Rowland going back. So too is Scutero. Rowland calls for it, and that's it. 2 left on for the Rays here in the second. Still nothing across. Against Roy Halladay here tonight, Scott Rowland will lead off in a moment. Well, our cameras will be trained back here tomorrow night in high definition. Rays and Jays at Garza. Scott Richmond tomorrow night, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. And Scott Rowland on the big screen. Steps to the plate against big Jeff Neiman. A couple of big guys, as a matter of fact. Rowland riding a 16-game hit streak.
Hitting over 400 in that span. Hitting the ball hard to all fields. coming up in big situations. I would have loved to have seen him yesterday come up in the bottom of the 9th inning with a chance to win it. And it looked like he had a really good chance to do it also.
Looked like it was all set up for one of those walk-off days for the Blue Jays. But again, great thing about baseball and sport, the endings aren't scripted.
Yeah.
He's been such a leader for this Blue Jay team this year. Just his mere presence, the fact that he's healthy and has been healthy all season. Does get the occasional day off, normally after a night game if it's an afternoon game.
That seems to be working. That's what Cito has stuck with. That's what he wants to do against the day game after a night game. It has helped. His bat seems to be quicker.
Former basketball star as well, Scott Rowland, has shown the hops. Scholarship possibility to Oklahoma State. Eddie Sutton shows the baseball path. Rowland to the gap. This will go for extra bases, and the hit streak goes to 17. He is seeing the baseball right now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's hitting the ball all over the place. You can't defend him. You've got to play him straight up, and that's going to create some holes on the infield and the outfield. He's hitting the ball down the left field line, left center, and now he picks on a ball and hits it in the right center. No chance for Gross or Upton to cut that ball off, and Rowland cruises into second base with the leadoff double.
Brings up Adam Lind. Nobody out here against Neiman.
A little bit of a mini slump you were talking about. The team altogether, just 5 hits on Saturday when they were shut out by Philadelphia. And then yesterday, 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. So a chance now for Lind to break that little mini streak.
Oh, the bottom fell out of that, didn't it? What a pitch. Can hump it up to 94, 95 and bring it back down to 76 on a curveball.
And you were right. It dropped straight down. Straight down. And that's the key to be watching. If at 2-0, 2-1, he's throwing that curveball for strikes, it's going to be tough for the Jay hitter.
Neiman, a former first-round pick. High in the sky. B.J. Upton under it. That's the first out here in the bottom of the second.
Well, when the Blue Jays came home off their last road trip, they knew they were going to be home for 9. And they were playing some teams that they could do well against. It started off nicely against Cincinnati, where they took 2 out of 3. But against Philadelphia, the numbers show that the offense just wasn't there, averaging just 3 runs a game. And runners in scoring position, 3 for 17 in that series against Philadelphia, and losing 2 out of 3. So this is a big series for the Jays before they head out on the road before the All-Star break.
Lyle Overbay. There goes Rowland. He could have walked there backwards. And you said it early on, teams will run on Neiman.
This is stolen base number 14 against Neiman. One look, and Rowland is almost to third base by the time Navarro, the catcher, catches it. He's just a good base runner. He's got great instincts on the bases.
Should be a very interesting series, this one. 2 teams meeting for the first time this year. 2 teams that hit for roughly the same average. Rays with a dynamite bullpen. Bartlett checks Rolen, goes to first. 2 away.
What does that tell you? Joe Madden, the second inning, has the infield in with a runner on third and less than 2 outs. He knows it's going to be hard to score runs against Halliday, so he's got to cut off as many runs as he can. He is rewarded by a ball hit right at Bartlett, the shortstop. If he's playing back, that's an RBI for Overbay. But Joe knows that Halliday's on the mound and the offense is going to be scuffling to score runs.
Jose Bautista in right field tonight. Alex Rios, no doubt struggling with the bat, gets the day off today. Bautista getting a chance to return to the lineup and get some at-bats.
He hit a bullet in yesterday's game to dead center field for a home run. Nice to have a guy who's versatile like that, who can play left field, he can play right field, he can play the infield for you and swing the bat.
That home run, his second of the season, off of the veteran Jamie Moyer. Jays looked comfortable early on in that ball game, and then the roof kind of fell in when they gave up 4 in an inning. Three balls and a strike. Blue Jays trying to get on the board here. Rolling at third. And up high, Bautista will walk down to first base. Brings up Russ Adams.
The second inning was a big inning against Neiman in his last start. The Mets scored a couple of runs on him with a bunch of walks. If you're patient against him and make him throw strikes, you can be successful because you're going to get a fastball at some point.
First pitch. Bartlett's going back and calling for it in front of Upton, who made the catch. Wow, that was a little dangerous. But the best news for the Rays is Upton has the baseball. Here's another look. Yeesh. Rogers Center, pregame family entertainment outside Gate 10, Junior Jay's interactive zone, face painting, pitching cage, more. Fergie Jenkins in the house to throw out the opening pitch. The Blue Jays will have their Canada Day uniforms on. Going to be a lot of fun on Wednesday. B.J. Upton. Second look now at Roy Halladay. He struck out, caught looking back in the first.
Had a big series against Florida before they came here to Toronto. They swept the Florida Marlins. BJ was 5 for 11 with 5 RBIs and a couple of stolen bases. So he's one of the guys who can make that offense go.
Quite a family, the Upton family. Sports minded. BJ and his brother Justin. Not too often that brothers go that high in a draft. BJ was a second overall pick in 2002, and Justin was first overall 2005.
His brother is putting up some huge numbers for Arizona this year. Such a young age. I believe he's 21 years old.
Jammed him, fouled away. Upton works to a full count now. Walked him. The speed burner, B.J. Upton. 28 steals on the season. Carl Crawford has already stolen a base here tonight. Goes down to first base, and Roy Halladay loses the first batter here in the top of the third.
Upton was saying the other day that Joe Maddon lets them run when he wants to. So he's got the green line. I don't anticipate him staying at first base very long.
119 steals for these Tampa Bay Rays. The Toronto Blue Jays 46.
Just 77 games.
Incredible.
We're not even halfway there.
Crawford down the line. It's hooking and just foul. Carl Crawford has faced Roy Halladay a number of times. He had a base hit back in the first. Lifetime 20 for 65 against Halladay.
Yeah, I know he's taken him deep in a game also. Good steal percentage right there for Upton. And
there he goes, and the pitch out. They might have him. Nope. Throw was off, and Upton will go to third base. They had a shot on the pitch out.
Yeah, you know, it had to be perfect, Rod, because even if you get a bad jump over first base, their speed makes up for that, and they can almost outrun the baseball. So the throw from Barajas had to be right there. Look at that. Head down. He's going hard. And again, even if it was right on the bag, it would have been close. But the ball sails on Barajas. This is error number 6 on the season for the Blue Jay catcher. And this is what speed will do. It'll force you to be perfect in the field.
This ball is rocked. Goodbye. Stolen base didn't really matter, because Carl Crawford has just hit his 7th home run of the season.
Second hit of the night for Carl Crawford against Halladay. And no doubt about it, looked like a hanging breaking ball. That'll speed the bat up over the middle of the plate. You want to talk about a guy who has power and speed. Crawford. No doubt about it in the second deck.
What is it we said before the ball game? The MO of this team offensively, steals and home runs. Seeing that in this inning. Evan Longoria. Nobody out. Here in the third inning, 2-0 Tampa. This guy is a tireless worker too, Carl Crawford. I think there was an unfair criticism of the guy because he has such natural talent that he's a bit of a coaster. He is not.
No.
This is a guy who has ferocious workouts in the wintertime. Works out with Pat Burrell and Dustin Pedroia in Arizona. Ball and 2 strikes. Down on strikes goes Evan Longoria.
A few years ago, the Tampa Bay Rays' first 2 picks in a draft, Josh Hamilton and Carl Crawford. That'll help you build the foundation for your organization when you pick players of that caliber.
Look what they did last year. The Rays without Carl Crawford from August on. With a hand injury, still able to win the division and the American League Championship, and then Crawford still played in the ALCS. Carlos Pena. Gone are the days when the Tampa Bay Rays came to town or you went to play them and you can beat on the doormat.
Beat on them and pad the stats a little bit. Yeah, you're absolutely right with the great drafts that they have had over the last few years. The shrewd trades that they've made, some of the free agent signings that they've had.
And they've been a team because of their futility. All the losing seasons, they've always been able to draft high.
Yep.
But you still had to make good selections.
Yeah, you had to get the right guy early in their existence. They had those high draft picks and kind of bombed on them a couple times. Dwan Brazelton was 3rd overall, I believe. Played a little bit in the big leagues, but he certainly was a difference maker.
Ball and 2 strikes to Pena. Fouled away. How many times did you go into Tampa and dread almost going into that ill-suited stadium, knowing that you might have a couple of thousand people, you could count them in one hand? That's not the case anymore. They are rocking that joint because of the success they had last year. Goes to show you winning brings crowds. Strike 3. You win, you can turn on your home crowd.
Good breaking ball from Halladay. He's got that tonight. Already his 5th strikeout. Good job by Barajas to pluck this one right off the dirt so it doesn't hit down there. Record the out.
Now second baseman Willie Ibar.
You talk about that Tampa Ray organization and how they've really got the talent level up. They've got a lot more young players that are coming and are going to be up here.
Again, a team that went from worst to first, lowest payroll in baseball, and got to the World Series. It can be done.
Sure. You got to make good baseball decisions. You can't miss on those draft picks.
Lyle Overbay flips to Halladay, who goes 1-2-3 after giving up a walk, a stolen base, and then a towering home run to Carl Crawford. The Tampa Bay Rays have a 2-0 lead after 2.5. One swing of the bat by Carl Crawford. 2-0 Tampa Bay. To the bottom of the third we go. Batting ninth tonight for the Blue Jays, a guy who wasn't even in the lineup around 3:30, 3:45 today, but he's penciled back in after working out with the Blue Jays training staff. Rod Barajas comes to the plate. You must have had a few hamstring pulls. It's a common injury in sport and baseball. How did you deal? Did you have to go on a DL at any time? Did you play through it? What happened?
Well, when I pulled my hamstring the last time, it was...
That was in the broadcast booth. This is a big foul pop.
Navarro with the catch. It was right at the end of fantasy camp this year. so I didn't miss any games.
Oh, yeah?
I was fine.
You know what? You are a gamer.
Yeah.
You're a gamer. Hey?
But everybody who pulled their hamstring knows.
Yeah, I was wondering, like in baseball, how does that affect you?
You can't walk. I mean, I was running one time, and it felt, and people said this, it felt like someone took a rifle and shot me in the back of my leg. And when it happened to me, that's exactly what it felt like. Somebody had a big bow and arrow, and they shot it and hit me right in the back of the leg, and I went down. Now, Rod's wasn't that bad.
That's what I mean, like for a guy and a catcher who's always crouching. He says it doesn't affect him when he's crouching.
It's when you're running the bases. Ball's just outside. You're running the bases, and you just feel it right in the back of your leg. And there are different degrees.
It's Barajas early on.
He's not airing it out. And that's okay. His game isn't about speed.
He's not Usain Bolt. But you still have to be able to get out there.
Yeah. You can get by with a slightly pulled hamstring if you're the catcher, because you don't have to really run around on defense that much. You can kind of guard against it on the bases, just kind of jog out there.
Strike three. Jeff Neiman's bringing it here tonight so far. Just one Blue Jay hit. Scudero, who's got a very good eye at the plate, watches this one sail past.
Yeah, he's got a very good arm. We talked about it in the scouting report. He's got raw power in that right arm. He's big, he's strong, he throws hard. And one of the things that I haven't seen so far from him, he's got a two-seam fastball that can really sink in on right-handers. Got a chance to watch his last start, and we asked Joe Madden about it. He said it's very impressive. Once he learns to control that consistently, he's going to break a ton of bats.
Boy, there's that 12-6 curveball. Aaron Hill fouled out in the first. First pitch went swinging. Aaron Hill crushes one to left field, but at the track, that ball wasn't going anywhere. A little muggy in here tonight. Thought for a moment that could sail out, but not for Aaron Hill. Another 1, 2, 3. on Wednesday. Pat Burrell, designated hitter for the Tampa Bay Rays. World champion Philly last year. Ground to another Philly from the past, Scott Rowland.
Spent some time on the disabled list at Pat Burrell with a neck strain. This is just his 15th game since coming back from the DL. Just doesn't have that stroke just yet.
We might see some good defense in this series, you think?
Oh.
I mean, two of the best fielding teams.
Blue Jays have the fewest errors in all of baseball. Probably the most highlights also. Defensively, that last series against Philadelphia was just spectacular.
Rays struggled a little bit out of the gate this year, and even defensively. Of course, when Iwamura went down as well. Such a solid second baseman. Gabe Gross.
I thought that was one of the reasons why they were so good last year. They played great defense from the beginning of the season to the end. They got good pitching, and their bullpen was good enough. It was pieced together towards the end of the year, but the one constant that the Rays had last year is they played great defense. Very rarely did they beat themselves. When you play good defense and you get good pitching, it allows you to come back, hold the opposition down, and come back. The Rays had a ton of comeback victories last year.
Another two-strike pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gross fouls it and then bounces up against him. Halladay will wait as Gross tries to shake it off. The Rays offensively last year were 13th in the American League in batting average. They got on base a lot. 3 players in the top 20 in walks. On base percentage was high. Inside pitch.
Yeah, back at it again this year. Number 1 in on base percentage. A lot of stolen bases.
Two now. Driven into right field. Bautista. As Gross goes for second. Here's the throw, and he is gone. Gross made a decision going around first, challenged Bautista, and he made him pay.
Yeah, you have to be aggressive. That's the MO for the Tampa Bay Rays. Aggressive all the time, and he's going to make Bautista throw him out. Another 2-strike hit. This time inside. He pulls it in the right field. Bautista quickly gets to the ball. Watch how fast he gets rid of the ball and how accurate it is. On 1, 2 bounces, Scudero digs it out and makes the tag to get Gross at second base. Good play by Bautista at right.
Now Jason Bartlett. It was almost as if he could see Gross make the move and then made the spin in a hurry. Applied the tag at second.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that. I love when teams are aggressive. They try to take the extra base. They force the issue. They try and make you play defense, make you get them out. Just that's a good aggressive play right there. Now, if they were losing and it was towards the end of the game, maybe not. Halladay comes back with a nifty 1-2-3 inning. Jays down by 2 as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Off the mound, he already has 6 strikeouts, so Tampa is making him work. You got to figure Halladay for the last 15 days hasn't been able to do his normal running, throwing, the things that he's done to keep in that great shape that he is. So you wonder now as we get into the game here if that's going to wear on Roy.
We'll see. Vernon Wells leading off here against Jeff Neiman. So far has tossed a tidy 1-hitter. The only hit coming from Scott Rowland, his double back in the 2nd inning. We're in the 4th, 2-0 Tampa Bay. And you're right about that. It's never easy to come off the disabled list.
Well, whenever you have a leg problem, you can't get the proper running that you need to do. There are machines that you can do things on to keep your strength. But the cardiovascular, the running, the throwing, all the things, and we all know what a workout warrior Roy Halladay is.
He is. That's a great word, warrior. That's what he is. Ball and 2 strikes. Check swing. Fouled away. Now, someone might say, well, he's a pitcher. He doesn't really have to do a whole lot of running. However, if you watch Roy Halladay, and you know that all the power comes from your legs as well when you pitch.
You know, pitchers have to run a lot. You know, that's one of the things that that ball's grounded through.
Oh, what a play by Bartlett. He has to eat it. Base hit, Vernon Wells.
It'll go as an infield single by Wells, placed perfectly by Longoria, but caught by Bartlett. As a pitcher, you have to run a lot to keep your legs strong and to keep your breath going. So we'll just watch that as we head into the game here. No chance for Bartlett to throw out Vernon Wells on that, so he just walks it back to the mound.
Scott Rowland right along, 17-game hit streak. Be interesting to see if the Blue Jays, who do not steal a lot compared to the Tampa Bay Rays, but maybe more they have since Cito Gaston came along as well, if they try to match this chess game here with Joe Madden and the Rays.
Well, there's just a couple of players on the Blue Jays that can do that. You're not going to have a slower player try and steal bases unless it's maybe a delay steal or something like that. But Vernon Wells is simply, he can do it. Alex Rios, who's not in the lineup, can do it. Marco Scudero has a few stolen bases. Aaron Hill, I wouldn't classify him as a stolen base kind of guy. Cito loves team speed. He says there's so many different ways to score runs when you have speed. Offensively, defensively.
Help manufacture runs, and again, Neiman is a guy, you know, the pedigree has shown that you're able to run on him. Scott Rowland did earlier.
He's got a lot of moving parts to his windup. Comes to the stretch. He's got the high leg kick.
Beats it into the turf. Longoria quickly, and a double play. Ibar got rid of that very quickly at second base.
And with a very strong arm. Evan Longoria is very quick, and he's got great hands at third base. Watch him step into this ball and then make a good throw to Ibar. Vernon Wells can't take out Ibar at second base, who steps back and throws a bullet to Pena to finish the double play.
That's only the 2nd time this season that Scott Rowland has grounded into a double play. Now Adam Lynn. Had a fly out to center field in his first at bat in the 2nd inning. One of 3 players on the Blue Jays hitting over 300. Slices that foul. Scott Rowland, Aaron Hill, and Adam Lind.
Look at the hole that Adam Lynn can shoot for right up the middle. That's Willie Ibar, the second baseman, out in short right field. Their charts say that when he pulls the ball, he hits it sharply to the right side. They don't squeeze the middle of the diamond against Lynn. If they go hard away, it's usually in the air to left field. If it's soft and in, he pulls it hard to the right side.
Boston Red Sox tonight, the division leaders for the moment. Beginning the night, 3 games ahead of the Yankees. 5 up on Tampa, 6 up on Toronto. They lead Baltimore 2-0 in the 4th. Camden Yards. Ball and 2 strikes with 2 away. Lind got under that. And so did Gabe Gross. Another 1, 2, 3 for Jeff Neiman. July 19th, when the Boston Red Sox are in town. First 10,000 fans will get the Mr. Sub sports bag.
That is sweet. You could use that if you're a basketball player, carry your gym clothes, right? Kids could take that as their baseball bag.
Take it shopping if you want. Go to the beach. Hey. Deanna Navarro, number 9 hitter. Roy Halladay now 70 pitches already into the top of the 5th inning. Two nothing Rays off the 2-run home run by Carl Crawford. Aaron Hill with a magnificent jumping catch. There's some of that D we talked about.
We've talked about it for a week now. The Jays' inner defense has been sensational. He times it perfectly, and how about the athleticism to get way up to take away a hit from Navarro.
We've talked about the bat with Aaron Hill lately. Don't forget about that glove when they draw the comparisons to Robbie Alomar.
He's getting better and better.
Who arguably, or maybe inarguably, maybe the greatest Blue Jay of all time, Robbie Alomar. I think you would probably think that he would be the guy.
Yep.
When you're starting to draw comparisons to that guy, that was a sweet play by Aaron Hill.
Just want to be a complete player. And we've seen that this week defensively from Aaron Hill. That double play he turned the other day when Ryan Howard scorched a ball to his backhand side. You won't find a better play by a second baseman this year.
What I really like about this guy is that he wants to have his name up on that level of excellence. Not many guys say that, and they might dream about it. He thinks he can believe it. Looking. 2 away. 7 strikeouts now for Doc.
Second time he's gotten B.J. Upton looking. One time with a cutter on the inside part of the plate. That time he threw a two-seamer on the outside, freezing him.
Carl Crawford, who stung Halladay in the 3rd inning with a 2-run home run. This time a dribbler down to the sure-handed Scott Rowland. The bullet over to first. 1-2-3 highlighted by a fantastic catch by Aaron Hill on 9 pitches from Roy Halladay.
Committed the fewest errors in all of baseball, so you know they catch the routine ball. But how about the sensational ball? This is just on this homestand. Everybody has contributed, and that's a great play from Hill. Look at this double play, and then Marco Scudero on the other end to complete the double play. How about throwing from the seat of your pants? No problem. And then yesterday, Vernon Wells with a Gold Glove catch out of center. That'll certainly help your pitching staff when you can catch the ball the way the Blue Jays have.
Sweet smell of burning leather here in Toronto. Gloves have been hot. Bottom of 5, Lyle Overbay. First pitch swinging, high fly ball out to B.J. Upton.
There are some good fielding teams in baseball. Tampa's up there. Minnesota is up there. We saw Philadelphia. But there are the Jays now with 28 errors. That's counting the one here tonight. They came into the game with the fewest in all of baseball. Tiger is an underrated fielding team.
Tigers have absolutely turned it on. A slow start, 42-33 now. Jose Bautista walked back in the 2nd inning. Just 2 hits for the Blue Jays here into the 5th off of Jeff Neiman. Blue Jays were a good fielding team a year ago, as was Tampa, obviously. Reflective also in a lot of those pitching numbers. You've got good D around you, boy. Helps out that ERA.
Yeah, to save your ERA a lot of times.
And you think about what this team has been able to do defensively this year around a pitching staff. Think about a team that basically at one time or another has lost every part of their rotation from last year or the year before. All 5 guys. 2-2 pitch. Whoa. You've got to be sharp down there. Hopefully everybody's all right. Bring your glove to the ballpark or be ready to duck. Keep your eye on it.
You know, you were just talking about injuries. I've been around baseball a long time. I don't think I've ever seen what has happened to the Blue Jays starting pitching ever. I don't know if there's been a precedent set by that from anybody. I mean, we've seen injuries to a starter here, starter there, but 5 and 2 closers.
Bautista, fly ball. Gabe Gross has to go back. Is starting to sail, but at the track, kind of lost it for a moment. Another fly ball out, induced by Jeff Neiman.
He'll get about half of his outs from fly balls. I looked at the ratio today. It's about 1-to-1 ground ball outs to fly ball outs. Big and strong. He has the ability to throw at the top of the strike zone. Just under it a little bit by Bautista. Ball kind of died out in right field.
So Russ Adams again. Getting the start in left field tonight. Former first-round pick of the Blue Jays.
We were talking about first-round picks in the break last inning. There are a few on the field today.
No kidding. Wearing Rays uniforms too, but there are a lot of number 1 picks. And number 1 overall in Pat Burrell. Neiman's a 4th overall. Hang around the basement long enough, though, you're going to get a number of first-round picks that are high up there, and that's what the Rays have done and been able to build impressively.
The great season that they had last year. They had the number 1 pick overall last year. Took a shortstop by the name of Beckham.
Longoria. And another 1, 2, 3 for Neiman and the Rays. 5 down at Rogers Center, 2 up for Tampa. Another sizzling play from Aaron Hill. Defensively, offensively, has done it all. He and Marco Scutero at the top of the order for the Blue Jays. Now Evan Longoria made that last out. The bottom of the 5th, leads off here in the 6th inning. Last year's American League Rookie of the Year. For those of you out there who sometimes wonder about late bloomers, this guy is a classic example. Shortstop in high school, was a 2-year letterman. Ball in his strike. Do you know how many scholarship offers he got? Zippo, none, not one. Went to a community college in California and then ended up getting a ride at Long Beach State. High fly ball. Bautista under it. They already had a shortstop. Pretty good one at Long Beach State.
Was that Tulo?
Yes, it was.
Troy Tulowitzki? Is that when Longoria moved over?
He moved to third base. And of course, before Longoria came to Tampa, Akinori Imamura was the third baseman who moved to second base.
That'll make a college coach look pretty smart when your left side is Longoria and Tulowitzki.
No kidding. Carlos Pena, strikeout, grounded into a double play in the first. 82 pitches from Roy Halladay now.
Pena hit his 100th home run as a Ray yesterday, moving him past Fred McGriff, the ex-Blue Jay, for second on the franchise list in home runs. Lots and lots of power. 23 home runs and 55 driven in.
Sure-handed Lyle Overbay. Think about these Rays for a minute, though, Tabby, and they were probably the losing his team of all of those expansion franchise. The last team to have any success. The Marlins won a World Series back in '97. Then Arizona Diamondbacks won. Colorado Rockies had their flirtation. Good for them. This team suffered for so many years.
I think they suffered trying to find an identity.
Well, they brought in the Fred McGriffs and the Wade Boggs,
Jose Canseco, Greg Vaughn,
the big names.
Yeah, they tried it through the draft. That didn't work at the early part of their existence. Then the veterans came in, like you said, but since this new ownership took over a few years ago, they've really poured a lot of time and energy and a lot of money into their farm system. They've just done a great job. They've hit on a lot of their draft picks.
Over their first 10 seasons, this team never won more than 70 games in a season. Dead last 9 of 10 years.
I remember when Lou Pinella's team won more than 70, and it was huge in Tampa. What an accomplishment. We've won more than 70. Well, Joe Madden and his staff have a little bit bigger fish to fry now. A 1-2-3 inning by Halladay. 7 straight he has set down now.
We're in first place. Remember, early in the season, great start, then that 9-game losing skid, and they've been trying to pick up the pace ever since. Boston 3 games ahead of the Yankees idle tonight. Tampa Bay a game ahead of Toronto, 6 in arrears of the Red Sox, who tonight now lead the Baltimore Orioles at Camden 4-0. J.D. Drew has his 10th home run for the Bo Sox. As we head to the bottom of the 6th, Blue Jays just 2 hits here tonight against Jeff Neiman. Down 2-0.
You know, we've talked all night how the schedule's getting a lot tougher. The Jays have only played 15 games within the American League East this year, the fewest of any of the teams there. Boston has already played 28 games within the division. Same with New York. Tampa 25, Jays just 15.
Rod Barajas fouled out back in the 3rd inning. And this one also going straight up in the air. He's got that swing on such an upward plane all the time. Longoria under it. Top of the order now for the Blue Jays.
You kind of touched on the division, how the Blue Jays got off to such a great start. Here's how they looked back on May the 18th. Blue Jays at 27-14 were leading the Red Sox and Yankees. The Rays were just kind of treading water right at 500. But since then, Red Sox, Yankees, and Rays have kind of like played the ball that everybody thought they would. 24-13 for the Red Sox. Yankees have won 22, and so the Rays. The Rays have won 5 in a row.
Marco Scudero's 3rd look at Neiman now. Got caught looking on strikes in the 3rd. Lined out to Willie Ibar to lead off the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 1st. And another fly ball here in the infield. It's Ibar under it. Roy Halladay is a little gassed right now as he chats with Brad Arnsberg. And the bullpen is up. Jeremy Accardo. Halladay's thrown 88 pitches so far here tonight. Aaron Hill. Ball and a strike. Hill a fly out. Also fouled out back in the 1st inning. A couple of fly balls here tonight. 2 home runs yesterday and now 19 on the season. Cito Gaston said before the game tonight that he would watch and see. No real pitch count for Roy Halladay. We'll just monitor how he progresses through the night.
Really just one mistake from Halladay so far, the home run by Crawford.
Liner, but right into the glove of Carl Crawford. And another 1-2-3 for Jeff Neiman. Brad Arnsberg.
that we've not seen from Halladay a whole lot this year. Just the second time that Halladay was not able to get into the 7th inning in his starts. He did have 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 of them scored. That being B.J. Upton following the home run by Crawford as Halladay's night is over. And the Jays will turn to the bullpen, and the first man out will be Jeremy Accardo.
Another guy who recently had a groin problem. Jeremy Accardo. So Roy Halladay leaves the ball game. Jays down at 2-0. 2-run home run by Carl Crawford in the 3rd. Here's Pat Burrell, followed by Gabe Gross and Jason Bartlett. Didn't look like Halladay was grimacing or anything, or
no.
Just looked like, again, maybe you, as you alluded to, conditioning could be a factor.
Yeah, maybe just winded just a little bit because he couldn't do his normal routine with the groin problem. But I think overall, a pretty decent night. 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 of them scoring, and a lot of ground ball outs. Retiring the last 7 batters he faced.
Hit hard to the wall and over the wall. Burrell takes Jeremy Accardo out on the 3rd pitch.
Yeah, that's what he will add to the Rays from the right side. Lots of power. 20 home runs every year since 2001. This is just number 3 on the season. He missed so much time with that neck strain. Barajas wants the ball down and away, and it looked like an off-speed pitch over the middle of the plate. Burrell is very, very strong. Hits it into the bullpen.
So the Blue Jays down by 2 swings here tonight. One from Carl Crawford, a 2-run swat, and that one from Pat Burrell, the long ball tonight. Doing it for the Rays. Hit a lot of home runs for the century mark. Have a 3-0 lead. First time Accardo allows a run in 5 games.
He's been good. A little bit of a splitter. A little slider, good arm. It's just unfortunate, you make one mistake to a good hitting team and they can really hurt you.
Lost him, bringing up Jason Bartlett. It's been a struggle for Jeremy Accardo somewhat. Last season, rehabbing his arm, and was such a big part of this bullpen for such a long time. Then earlier in this year, didn't get a recall, was kind of buried in Las Vegas for a while.
Had the injury last year, and that was kind of a mystery when he got hurt at the beginning of May. They said it was a forearm strain, and everybody thought it'd be 2 or 3 weeks, and then he was gone for the rest of the season. Bartlett with a long look at Tom Foley, the third base coach. Rays might be thinking about putting something on here.
Cardo's having a tough time finding his spots here coming out of the bullpen. That's better. 2 years ago, of course, Jeremy Accardo really had a breakthrough with the Toronto Blue Jays when he was forced into that closer role. All of a sudden, he accepted it with open arms and had a 30-save season.
Was pitching really well in the 7th, and then in the 8th inning as the Jays kept moving him back, and then with the injury to B.J. Ryan, picked up a lot of saves, very confident.
Down to second base, and out at second is Gabe Gross on a good bullet from Rod Barajas.
Yeah, throws out about 28% of the runners trying to steal on him. Earlier today, Upton stole on him. He threw the ball into center field, so this atones for it right here. It looked like maybe they were playing hit and run. Gross is really nailed at second base. He's been thrown out 3 times now this year. Bartlett lays off that high fastball. That was a good pitch to throw on. That good high fastball like that.
Joe Madden came out to chat with Adrian Johnson. Kind of wondering about the call. Likeable manager of the Rays.
I think he got him. He did tag him up high, but I think it was before he got to the bag.
Vernon Wells tried to come in on that, but decided against it. Took it on the one hop, and Jason Bartlett's at first base. 1 away here in the 7th, and the Blue Jays trying to limit the damage.
You know, if there was one guy on the team last year who was an unsung hero, is that guy right there, Jason Bartlett. That trade that they made with Minnesota, he came over here, just solidified the infield, played great defense at shortstop, gave him a lot of offense. And I think it really showed this year when he went out. He was on the disabled list for a little bit, and I think that's why the Rays kind of stumbled coming out of the gate.
Navarro. He'll take one off the body, too.
I think that one went off of his knee.
Mm-hmm. Bartlett, who's at first, has 16 steals on the year. Kind of pales in comparison to Crawford's 40.
And Upton's 29.
But if Bartlett was on the Blue Jays, he would lead the team in steals. There goes Bartlett. Barajas again. He's been busy. Safe this time.
Bartlett just a little bit quicker. And a good aggressive slide, I thought, at the end is what made that play. Again, another good pitch to throw on. Barajas comes out of there firing and makes a good throw, but look at the aggressive slide in the second base right at the end. Goes right into the bag hard. Scudero can't get that tag down in time, and it's another stolen base.
3 swiped bags tonight from the Rays. They've been caught once as well. But now Bartlett in scoring position with 1 away. Ball and a strike to Navarro. Bautista takes it on the hop. Here's the throw to Hill. And Bartlett advances to third base. So runners at the corners now, and here comes B.J. Upton.
And this is what the Rays do best. If you look at their numbers this year, look where they rank in all these offensive categories. Runs per game, about 5.5. On base percentage, they're number 1. Base on balls is a huge part of their game also. 316 walks already this year. You throw in the home runs and the stolen bases and everything else, you can see why they lead the American League in run score.
They make you pay attention.
Well, they just have so many different ways that they can hurt you offensively.
B.J. Upton.
Safety squeeze. They're creative also. I like that. There's a difference between the suicide squeeze and the safety squeeze. The runner at third base, Bartlett, is going to read if B.J. Upton gets the ball down. He is not going to break until he sees that ball down. Same thing with the runner at first base. The hitter has an option. If it's a strike, he can bunt it. If it's not, just take it. Suicide squeeze, you have to get it down because that runner's coming from third.
Tough squeeze here right now for the Blue Jays again. Their offense silenced tonight. The Rays threatening to score more. When you have speed on the base paths and you're a running team, you make that pitcher think. 2-0.
Yeah, you make him think, and you make the defense think also. You got to be quick. Puts a lot of pressure on you. Ground ball is not a guaranteed double play when you've got speed at the plate. So you got to be perfect as a fielder. If you bobble that ball just for an instant, like right now, if you're thinking, if you're an infielder right here, you've got a runner on third, if there's a ground ball, you're thinking, boy, I've got to be perfect or a run is going to score.
Fouled. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's the guy right there who's got the most pressure on him right there, because if there is a ground ball to him, it's a long way to go around that diamond to turn 2. Same thing with Marco Scutaro. You got to figure that there's going to be a ground ball. If there is a ground ball, it's going to be on the left side right there.
So now a full count.
That's Tom Foley, the third base coach, going through all the signs. He's talking to Bartlett right there, telling him what to do. Anticipate a ball on the ground, anticipate a line drive. They might want to start the runner at first base. If they want to stay out of the double play, that'll guarantee them a run.
Fly ball, Batista makes the catch, but Bartlett will easily score. Make it 4-0, Tampa Bay.
Another RBI right there for B.J. Upton. A good battle at the plate against a tough right-hander in Accardo. And he comes up with the sac fly. RBI number 30 for Upton. Nice play out there by Batista to get back quickly and take away a hit.
And Carl Crawford. Navarro going to second. And he's out. Couple of pegs by Barajas, but 2 more runs for Tampa. Carl Crawford, his 7th home run of the season, 2-run shot. Another home run by Pat Burrell in the 7th. Another deuce on the board, and 4-0. Roy Halladay goes 6 innings.
Yeah, the bottom line, though, as you look at this as we head into the bottom of the 7th inning, Jays bats have got to come alive against Jeff Neiman. Neiman only lasted 4 innings in his last outing against the Mets, and they knocked him out. But he's been on his game today. He has pounded the strike zone with a good fastball. Jays were shut out on Saturday by Jay Happ. Lost a tough one yesterday, and now Neiman has come in here and thrown 6 scoreless at him. Bottom line is they got to start swinging right now.
Part of the order up. 3rd look now for Vernon Wells. Infield base hit back in the 4th. Hit hard and hit high. Hooking and foul.
Now, you can't hit a ball any harder than that. That was a hanging breaking ball from Neiman. Vernon just a little too quick. He goes and gets it. He knows he got all of it. He's just hoping that that ball stays fair. But look at it hook. Probably about 7 or 8 feet foul.
So Neiman way ahead here. 2 strikes to Wells. Pops straight up again. Gross coming in. Ibar going out. And that's the 2nd time tonight that's happened between a Ray infielder and a Ray outfielder.
Well, the middle of the diamond is aggressive going after pop-ups, which is good. But it's the outfielder who has priority over the infield.
B.J. Upton earlier with Bartlett took a ball away at the last moment. You're right. Maybe they're just not hearing it or whatever, but he's yelling clearly.
Just not loud enough.
Yeah, they're very lucky that that ball wasn't dropped.
Who made the catch? Did the second baseman make the catch? No, let me get my white out. I thought Gross, who's about 6'4", made that catch.
Gave him a little glare anyways. Scott Rowland right down to Longoria. 3rd baseman to 3rd baseman, and 2 away. We talked about it earlier about Neiman and how he's got great balance between ground ball outs and fly ball outs. That's what he's done here again tonight.
Yeah, we got a lot of balls up in the air. Pop-ups and fly balls. Looks like it's about half and half.
Just 1 strikeout. He has a 4-0 lead. Looking for his 7th win of the season.
His best outing was against Kansas City, which was his 5th win of the season. He threw a complete game shutout, 2-hitter against the Kansas City Royals. The difference between that game and this one so far, he had 9 strikeouts in that game. This one he only has 1. So the Jays have put it in play, but just haven't hit anything hard.
Adam Lynn trying to do that. A couple of fly ball outs. 2 away in the 7th. Some teams would like to get to their opposition bullpen, but that's not the case with Tampa Bay. Their bullpen has been lights out of late.
So is Neiman. That was just his 80th pitch. You know, and it has taken him a while to get here. He was drafted back in 2004, but he was chosen 4th overall in baseball. And look at the numbers in the minor leagues. 74 games, an ERA of about 3.5, 9 strikeouts per 9 innings. Just hasn't transferred so far into the big leagues.
There's the Blue Jays' third base hit of the night. Adam Lynn's first of the night. Has to start somewhere. Lyle Overbay now coming to the dish.
He's so good at going the other way, staying on balls down and away. Neiman has a good 2-sinking fastball. Adam Lynn's going to take that night in and night out the other way easily.
Ground ball right side, Ibar, easy play. Down go the Blue Jays again here in the 7th. Nothing across, only 3 hits tonight. Neiman's been great. 4-0 Rays. A little inclement weather in the area today, some wet stuff. We head to the 8th inning and the first meeting of the season between the Tampa Bay Rays and Toronto Blue Jays so far has been all Rays. 4-0. B.J. Ryan now comes into the ball game to relieve Jeremy Accardo, who relieved Roy Halladay. The guy who took Halladay deep back in the 3rd inning to get the Rays on the board, Carl Crawford.
There are BJ's number, 24. 24th time he has come in. Last pitched a couple of days ago against Philadelphia. Got in an inning of work. Gave up an earned run, a couple of base hits. The miles per hour are going up for B.J. Ryan. Beginning of the year, his fastball was not where it's at right now. So that is good to see.
Three balls and a strike. And the dangerous base stealer goes down to first base. He's already stolen one here tonight. 2-run home run and now a walk. And with Evan Longoria and Carlos Pena due up here, best be careful.
That's another thing that the Rays do. They don't sit on leads. It's just 4-0, and Joe Madden knows that the Jays are a good hitting team. He said that much to us. Ryan trying a little bit of a slide step there to slow down Carl Crawford at first base. There's Davey Martinez, the bench coach, along with Joe Madden, talking strategy.
Aaron Hill on one hop, the scoop, the throw to Scutaro, and a double play. A sigh of relief, I'm sure, from B.J. Ryan.
They've turned a few of those. Looked like Aaron Hill was a little handcuffed on that ball. Wasn't really sure if it ran up his arm. Kind of looks where, oh, there it is, right in my hand. And after that, it was easy. Crawford ducks out of the way, an easy double play by the Blue Jays.
Now Carlos Pena. 0 for 3 night, a strikeout, grounded into a double play. .23 home runs this year. Where Aaron Hill was playing. Shallow right field. B.J. Ryan a 1-2-3-8, and now the Blue Jays need their bats. Bautista, Adams, Barajas, 2 up. Rogers Fast Fact, brought to you by Rogers High-Speed Internet, the fastest and most reliable, period. Did you know, Mr. Tabler, the Rays have a 31-21 record since April 30th, 34-21, which leads the American League. And so a slow start, and the defending American League champions have started to rise to the top again.
No, I did not know that. I knew they were playing better baseball, but I didn't know they've had the best record since the beginning of May in the AL.
Now you know.
Now I know. Thank you for that fast fact.
Oh, you're welcome. Jose Bautista now, and the fact of the matter is the Blue Jays have to get on base. They've been able to get there a couple of times tonight. 3 hits for the Jays. Did have a runner in scoring position back in the second. Scott Rowland got as far as third base, but that was it. And it's all because of Jeff Neiman tonight.
Yeah, we talked at the beginning that there were some pitch concerns and some wildness concerns, but Neiman has been great. Just 1 base on balls. He's been ahead of the hitters constantly all night.
He cuts an imposing figure out there, doesn't he? He's a giant.
Yeah, he's so tall at 6'9", and he really creates a good downward movement on his pitches when he gets on top of them.
Ball and 2 strikes. And the thing about Neiman tonight, he has been in this situation a number of times. This will be pitch number 90. Way ahead of everybody. Mixing, matching, curveball to fastball, handcuffing the Blue Jay hitters. Well, it has to start somewhere. Maybe this walk. And I would think that Joe Madden will get that bullpen going here, even with a 4-0 lead as he creeps closer to 100 pitches for Neiman.
Yeah, even though Neiman's been really good, the bullpen has been great for Tampa this year. They've got a lot of depth out there. They don't really have one of those bona fide closers that we've seen. We'll see how this one plays out now.
Russ Adams. They didn't really have a bona fide closer last year either. They were a bullpen by committee. 5 different pitchers closed out 7 postseason wins. Two strikes to Adams. Rod Barajas on deck, then the top of the order here in the 8th. Rolled over. They get Adams. Batista advancing to second in scoring position.
Yeah, you're counting outs right now. Pena, who was a Gold Glove first baseman last year, didn't even look to try and get the lead run. They are looking for outs. Dan Wheeler has picked up a ball and he's getting himself ready just in case.
Down the line, but hooking foul, and that's a couple of close calls that Neiman's had tonight. Vernon Wells hooked one earlier, and that time Barajas. Even near 100 pitches. Breaking stuff. Baffling the Blue Jays.
Yeah, he still has some left in the tank. Just 78 pitches thrown his last time out. They gave him some extra rest as they worked David Price into the rotation. So he's had 8 days to get ready for this start. And he has looked very strong. The Rays have played really well when he starts games. They are 10-4 when he is on the mound this year, and they've averaged about 8 runs a game of support for him.
Yeah, he gets a lot of support. Just like Scott Kazmir as well. Good team.
Yeah.
Really good team, top to bottom. The key for them is they're getting healthier and healthier. Fouled away. Joe Madden said as such earlier today when he chatted with us about how close this team is, how they all have bought in and they believe. Right field, Gross giving chase. This will score Bautista. And the Blue Jays are on the board here in the 8th inning. Finally.
Finally is right. Rod Barajas wasting no time contributing after being out a couple of days. He's looked good behind the plate. He's thrown out a couple of base runners, and now he plates the first run with a single to right field. He's going to come out of the game. He's going to pinch run for it by John McDonald. 2 strikes. He stays on the ball. It looked like a slider that was down and away. No chance to stretch this one out for 2 when you've got a hamstring problem. Gross cuts that ball off, gets it back in to the infield, keeps the double play in order. Jeff Neiman's night is done. The Rays have a new pitcher. It'll be Dan Wheeler.
Rogers Blue Jays baseball on TSN, brought to you by Rogers, Canada's fastest mobile network, 3 times faster than any other. Visit rogers.com/fastest internet. Great scene, Center Island across the way. Rod Barajas has left the game after his RBI single here in the 8th inning. Blue Jays now down 3. 38th RBI for Barajas, and Marco Scutaro will face Dan Wheeler.
Wheeler is a versatile reliever. He can pitch anywhere from the 6th inning on for Joe Madden. 32nd time that he has been in a game this year. He can run and sink his fastball. He's got a cutter-like slider and a split-like change. Throws strikes, as you can see from those numbers right there. Last year, 2nd in the American League in holds with 26 to go along with 13 saves. So he's a valuable piece of that bullpen for the Rays.
John McDonald running at first for Barajas. Marco Scutaro now his 4th at-bat tonight, an 0-for night. And then Aaron Hill, who's also 0 for 3. The Blue Jays can stay out of a double play here. 1 out, 4-1 Tampa.
Marco doesn't hit a lot of ground ball double plays, just 9 of them this year.
They've got some speed there too with Johnny Mack and Scutaro. Blue Jays happy to get rid of Jeff Neiman tonight. What a game for him. Finally get to him in the 8th. Wheeler with this Kind of funky pre-pitch routine. Looks like he's trying to find something in his glove.
The ball, the grip, right? It's a nice little pickup for the Rays a couple of years ago, right at the end of the trade deadline. They got him from Houston in exchange for Ty Wigginton, when they were desperately looking for any kind of arms at the back end of that bullpen. Come in and done a nice job.
Evens the count.
You see him kind of shaking his glove right there. That's to.
And his head.
What's that?
And his head.
And his head at the same time. When he gets that split-like grip, he doesn't want to give it away. I think Ryan Dempster does that with the Chicago Cubs. So he doesn't give away what kind of grip he's going to use. A lot of times, as a hitter, you can just look in there and you see them digging for that splitter or for that curveball. Gives away what they're throwing.
Down the right field line again to the corner. It's foul. Crowd got a charge out of that. There's another look. Just foul. That might have scored McDonald from first. 3-2 now.
That's what Marco does best, doesn't he? Just spoil pitch after pitch after pitch.
You love him if you're a baseball fan down the right field line. All those foul balls you're chasing. If you're a kid, you know you might have a souvenir or 2 or 10.
Make that pitcher keep throwing balls. Maybe he'll leave one out over the plate for you. You can sting one.
Another souvenir. 4-1 Rays. 2 in the third. A Carl Crawford 2-run home run. Pat Burrell home run in the 7th. RBI sacrifice fly by B.J. Upton. Blue Jays getting on the board here in the 8th. Trying to make a big comeback. Game 1 of this series. Crowd has been silenced for most of the night. Pumping up the volume here now. Scudero, fly ball to center field. B.J. Upton makes a great grab. Read that perfectly.
He made it look easy out in center field. Ball's hit hard by Scudero in the right center field. We have seen him make highlight film catches all season long. This ball to his glove side, slicing away from him, and he goes hard and makes a nice over-the-shoulder catch.
And then took a, well, it looks like he avoided a little shower there from some fan out there. probably will be given an early exit if they find out who that was.
Let's hope so. That ain't right.
That is not right. Two away now, Aaron Hill. Scudero stung that ball, though, and B.J. Upton was able to track it down perfectly. Home runs for Hill on the year. Most ever by a Blue Jay second baseman. He had actually tied Robbie Alomar. Was the co-leader at 17, and now he's all alone, and looks like he's going to keep adding to this tally. Who knows where he's going to end up.
We talked a little bit about his projections.
37 maybe. But you have to hit him, of course. Here's the 0-2 now from Wheeler. Little lazy fly. Could be some trouble for Ibar, but has it. Blue Jays get on the board, but they're down 3 as we head to the 9th inning at Rogers Center tonight. Talking about the back-to-back reunion in August and his favorite Jays memories. That back-to-back reunion in August is going to be spectacular. Log on to BlueJays.com. All of the world champions, a lot of them will be back here. What are you doing? You're doing your golf swing.
To play golf.
To play golf.
That's right. We got to get you out there.
Yeah,
man.
Joe Carter will be out there. He golfs every day now. That's what he did. He hit a home run.
You can play golf.
And he joined the retired golf tour for the rest of his life. Sean Camp in now, here in the 9th inning. 4-1 at Tampa Bay. Hit hard first pitch. Bautista under it. Way up there. 1 away. Bringing up Pat Burrell. That solo shot sticking out like a sore thumb right now. Back in the 7th inning. It was only a 2-0 game to that point. Rattled Jeremy Accardo as he came into the ball game.
Yeah, then he walked the next batter. He was thrown out trying to steal, but then Bartlett single stole and came around on a single by Navarro. They keep the pedal to the middle offensively, very aggressive.
Ball and 2 strikes. Camp, a former Ray. Down goes Burrell. 2 away.
That's a classic example of a hitter not knowing what a pitcher throws. Just freezes Pat Burrell, not knowing that Camp likes to go to that slider against right-handers. Nothing he can do except walk back to the bench. Sean Camp set his career high in wins with the Tampa Bay Rays back in 2006 when he had 7.
Another high fly ball. Batista to the track. And Gabe Gross is out. We go to the bottom of the 9th. 4-1 at Tampa Bay. Vernon Wells will lead off in a moment. Get that from, oh man. Oh yeah, there you go.
Super Stud?
Oh yeah. Well,
who is that? Super
I made
Stud.
That. I have no idea. I really like to thank our crew for finding that. Good one. Good one. They got on television. Hey, Roy Halladay tonight.
Pretty much what I thought.
Yeah, gives up 2 runs.
Yeah.
As we talked about earlier in the ballgame, they were going to monitor him. You didn't think he was going to throw a complete game, certainly getting off the disabled list.
I thought he was going to pitch what we saw. He was aggressive. I thought he was a little winded at the end there. Maybe the humidity inside here, but it's about what I expected from Roy Halladay. He looked sharp at times. He retired the last 7 batters he faced. He pounded the strike zone, just a couple of walks. So Blue Jays offense have got to help him out right here.
Vernon Wells to lead off here in the bottom of the 9th. Jammed him. Could be trouble again. B.J. Upton, and communication issues between the infielders and the outfielders. That seems to be the only blemish, but it's worked tonight for the Rays.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or transmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership.
Scott Rowland with 1 away. Wheeler deals.
Wheeler dealer?
Wheeler dealer. Rowland with a double extended his hit streak to 17 games. That's a career high for him. But it won't matter a bit if the Blue Jays can't come back and win this game. Significant in this game is the fact that if Tampa Bay does win, they go 2 games up on Toronto, and the Blue Jays then have to take the next 2 to just go neck and neck with the Rays right now. Never mind the Yankees and the Red Sox.
This was a big homestand, I think. The Jays were pointing to it. 9 games here. They had the Reds, the Phillies, and Tampa, all before the All-Star break. It started off nicely against Cincinnati, winning 2 out of 3 in that series. Phillies came in here and took 2 out of 3. So this is a big series against Tampa, who just passed them yesterday with their win.
Again, it has to start by getting on base here as the Blue Jays got on the board. That walk in that last inning paved the way for the Blue Jays to finally get on the board here. Roland tags one, but again, foul ball.
They haven't had any problems with those inside pitches. Just got to move that foul pole about 50 feet to the left there. They have 3 home runs. You got to figure Wheeler now, after throwing one inside, he's going to try and throw something away here.
Right you are. As Roland was anticipating. Adam Lind on deck. Tampa trying to roll off its 6th straight win. And he got him. So the Jays are down to their final out here.
You know, and the bullpen has been a big part of that for Tampa Bay. Their relievers have pitched to an ERA just over 1 since June the 8th. His fastball on the inner half to Roland ties him up. He swings right through it. They've only allowed 1 run in their last 18 and a third innings. Overall, their ERA is the 3rd best in the major leagues coming out of the bullpen.
Adam Lind singled back in the 7th inning, went the other way. Get on base. Lyle Overbay is next.
Hey, you got to try and get that tying run to the plate. So at least give yourself a chance with 1 swing of the bat to at least tie it.
And there's another base hit.
(2-0). He knows he's got to come in there with a room service fastball.
Smile from Adam Lind. That will be it for Wheeler. Double barrel action in the bullpen. Lefty and righty, and Joe Madden will make the change here.
He wants to get to a point where that tying run does not come to the plate. So with the lefty up, it looks like he's going to go to the left-hander out of the bullpen.
TSN2 brings you 5 hours of NHL free agent frenzy, including breaking news, analysis of all the big deals. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on TSN2. Continues live on TSN from 5 Eastern as they make some off-season deals in the National Hockey League. Lyle Overbay, lefty on lefty here.
And he's been good left on left. You talked about it earlier that the Rays have had 6 guys close games for them this year. Here's one of them. Randy Choate has saved 3 games for Tampa this year. Good numbers against left-handed batters. And that's why Joe Madden brings him in and quickly jumps ahead of Lyle Overbay 0-2.
Blue Jays down 3. Man on, 2 out.
He brings him in here because he's had some great success against lefties this year. 0-53. Left-handers have just 1 hit off of Randy Choate this year. You can see how tough he could be when he drops down.
Popped way up. Carl Crawford to make the final out of this game. And the Tampa Bay Rays come into Toronto, the first game of the season against the Blue Jays. And the Rays beat the Jays 4-1, a night that Roy Halladay gave up a 2-run home run to Carl Crawford. The Rays used their power and they used their